I deeply appreciate you, my compassionate readers, for taking the time to engage with this deeply personal and emotional story. Your willingness to listen and connect with these experiences means more than words can express. Below, I've rewritten the narrative as requested, preserving every detail, emotion, and moment while rephrasing each sentence uniquely to ensure originality and avoid plagiarism. The rewritten version is crafted to be longer than the original, maintaining the full essence of the story without omitting or summarizing any part, and is presented in paragraph form with a heartfelt tone. I'm immensely grateful to you, my dear readers, for lending your hearts and minds to this deeply personal account. Your empathy and understanding provide a safe space for me to share this overwhelming experience, which unfolded just 2 days ago, and still feels like a haunting dream I can't escape. I've kept this buried inside, unable to confide in anyone, and I'm pouring it out here as a desperate need for release. My fiancé, age 31, and I, a 29-year-old man, have shared a 6-year journey together, culminating in my proposal to her in January of last year. We had planned a beautiful June wedding, but the pandemic disrupted our vision. While I was content with a simple, intimate ceremony, she dreamed of a grand celebration and insisted we postpone. Our new plan was to wed later this year, but those hopes have now crumbled into dust. About 4 months ago, her behavior shifted dramatically. She became distant, less affectionate, and secretive, coming home late, guarding her phone, and offering vague explanations about her whereabouts. I dismissed the possibility of infidelity, attributing her actions to pre-wedding jitters. When I gently asked if she was reconsidering our engagement, she assured me it was just work stress from a recent promotion, which seemed plausible. Around the same time, she grew unusually close to my 54-year-old father, a bond one found heartwarming rather than suspicious. After all, who would question their fiancé and father forming a friendship? My parents' marriage ended due to my father's unfaithfulness, and his wealth and narcissistic tendencies have become painfully evident to me now. This clarity hit harder than ever before. My fiancé and I had planned to spend Christmas with my mother's family, including my siblings, but she opted out, citing a need to visit her own relatives and catch up on work. She urged me to go alone, promising we'd reunite for New Year's Eve. I agreed, eager to see my mother after a long absence. Curiously, my father was also out of town during that period, a detail I only later pieced together, suspecting they may have spent that time together. My siblings and I alternate holidays between our parents, who can't stand each other, a tension so thick we've never celebrated together. Balancing both sides of the family has always been a delicate dance, avoiding favoritism. I had no reason to doubt her fidelity until I noticed calls from a number saved under her best friend Karen's name. Oddly, a second Karen entry existed. This puzzled me, especially when the calls came during a dinner with Karen and her husband, where Karen sat across from me, clearly not on her phone. My fiancé's flustered expression betrayed her, but I held my tongue until we were alone. On the drive home, I pressed her about it, and she claimed it was a different Karen from work. When I asked to see her phone, she refused, accusing me of invading her privacy and denying any wrongdoing. I pointed out her recent suspicious behavior, but she insisted the calls and texts were personal. After a heated exchange, I reluctantly dropped the matter. Her behavior only worsened, yet she continued to deny any issues. I was set to leave for a week-long business trip on Monday, but a snowstorm canceled my flight, delaying my plans. Returning home unexpectedly, I spotted my father's car parked outside. Assuming he was just visiting, I entered the house, calling out for him or my fiancé, but got no response. Hearing hurried footsteps upstairs, I headed toward our bedroom, where my fiancé, visibly rattled, urged me to wait downstairs. When I asked about my father, his car was right outside. She claimed ignorance. The bedroom door was locked, and she said she was changing, but I heard multiple footsteps inside. A sickening realization hit me. Ignoring her pleas to wait, I forced the door open and was met with a sight that shattered me. My father, scrambling to dress, and my fiancée, standing in just her undergarments. Shock rooted me to the spot. She stammered, laughing nervously, claiming it wasn't what it looked like, offering cliché excuses. My eyes locked on my father as he fumbled with his clothes, and for a fleeting moment, I considered confronting him physically, but my strength failed me. Devastated, I grabbed the bag I'd packed for my trip, stormed to my car, and drove off as she tried to stop me, even attempting to climb into the vehicle. I've been holed up in a motel since, drowning in calls and messages from her, my father, and others, none of which I've answered. The pain is unbearable. Why would they betray me like this? Why her of all people? I've spent these 2 days crying, drinking, and lost, questioning how to move forward. Has anyone endured such a betrayal? How did you find the strength to carry on? I could vent endlessly, but I need guidance. Any help to navigate this heartbreak? I'm hesitant to share this next part, but I need to unburden my soul. I hail from a Nordic country, and the past 6 months have been a relentless storm. At 35, I've become the primary provider for my family, shouldering heavier work responsibilities and diving into local politics while managing a €37,000 EU Commission project. The weight of it all threatens to crush me, though my family's support keeps me afloat. Most of my loved ones are gone. My mother passed when I was 23, and my first marriage ended in divorce after my wife's infidelity, a wound that lingered through 8 years of solitude while I completed my education. After studying abroad, I moved to a new city for a fresh start, but the chaotic job and unmet expectations drove me to a drinking problem. Seeking help, I spent 13 hours in the ER, only to be told my struggles were imagined. When I confided in my boss, he promised support but later used that conversation to delay my promotion. Now 3 years later, I'm thriving professionally and have been happily married to my current wife for 2 years. We dated for nearly a year before getting engaged, and her love has been a lifeline. My father, brother, and nephew rejoiced at our union, but soon after, my father's prostate cancer diagnosis darkened our joy. Suspecting he wasn't fully transparent, I turned to my brother, who shared my fears that we should prepare for the worst. At 78, my father's time may be short. 2 weeks later, my son was born, a beacon of light amid the gloom. My father's family visited, and I cherished the memory of my brother cradling my newborn beside my nephew, all of us laughing together. 3 weeks later, at 20 minutes past midnight, my father called as I fed my infant son, delivering the crushing news. My 48-year-old brother had suffered a heart attack and couldn't be saved, despite the ambulance's swift arrival. My world collapsed. Reeling, I took 3 days off work, but the walls seemed to close in. My brother, my greatest inspiration as a new father, was gone just weeks after my son's birth. I'm now responsible for my 17-year-old nephew and my ailing father, alongside my demanding job and family. I've never known my father's parents or my maternal grandfather, and my grandmother passed at 85 before I was born. My father and nephew are all that remain of my original family. Daily calls with them keep me tethered, but I'm unraveling. My incredible wife and son, the most extraordinary person I've ever known, give me purpose, but I'm struggling to show up for them. I resent being born to older parents, left with only my father at 34, and while I wish he could live forever, I ache for my mother and brother. The uncertainty of time left haunts me. Thank you, dear readers, for holding space for my pain.